Good morning, everyone. This is Hannes from Guerrilla Safety Consultants. I'm sure all of you have heard of me or spoken to me over the phone. So basically, today we're just going to run through the employee timesheet. We have realized that there's been some confusion with regards to the timesheet, and we just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page to ensure that we complete these things correctly, to make sure that there is no issues on when we complete this document. So basically, it's quite straightforward. Add employee name, you'll put your name in, which is mine is Hannes Hatting. The client name, for example, we'll put Art Welding. So if you work for MK Projects or Art Welding or Morolo or whoever you are on site for Petrol Tech SA, you'll put that client name in there. Employee position will most probably be a safety officer. So you'll add that in there. You'll put the month. This is the month that the work is taking place. So if it runs from, for example, from October to November, you'll put there October to November. So say you start working on the 30th, which is a Monday, and then the next day is the 1st. You'll say November, October, and November. As this is November, you'll only put in November. Employee number, that's not really applicable. What you can do, you can put your name in there. Well, just leave it open. We don't really need it. Next of kin is just for emergency. So emergency. So in the event that something happens, we know who to contact. We might not always have an emergency or next of kin number available, and your next of kin might change as you work for us, and we don't have the most up-to-date information. So always put your next of kin details in there, please. Email address, we've got your email, but in the event that the client needs to reach you or just find out something, your email address is available there, because we do send this timesheet together with the invoice to the client. Then your home address, this is very important. So let me just fill in this so all of us can see how it is completed. We'll just put wife or brother or whatever the case may be, but put their name, not as I just did, and then just put their cell phone number there. Here we'll just put info at Gorillas, just to make sure that it's completed in full. .co.za. Then, yeah, as I mentioned, this is very important. So we're just using this as an example. 10 Set Street in Janssen Park, Boksburg, 1459. So if you put this address in this document, this is where we will charge kilometers from. So you can't put this address and then claim kilometers from a separate address. You need to ensure that you are in a position to provide a proof of address with this address on there. If we can't provide a proof of address, then yeah, we can't really bill kilometers from there, and the address needs to be in your name. You need to get mail there or whatever the case may be. And if your address changes, you need to let us know, and you need to send us a proof of address, because we can't bill from 10 Set Street for half a month and then you move all of a sudden and then we charge kilometers from a different address. That's just going to cause some confusion with our customers, and it could cause some issues when it comes to payment. Contractor name, don't worry about that. We've already mentioned the client name, that is Art Welding. Then we need to put the site supervisor name, the site supervisor cell phone number, the site supervisor email. Even if you work on the same site for the next 3 months, every time it needs to have the site supervisor name in there. We don't go back to old timesheets to go look for a contact number. We need to make sure it's on every single document. Then over here, it's basically straightforward. The date is the date that you are working, which is today, for example. So it is 15 November 2021. The day today is Sunday, so you put there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Start time is 07, just 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock, which is a normal working day. Your kilometers from 10 Set Street to L Road, for example, is 100 kilometers, so we put 100 in there. So that's a return trip. Then your normal hours. So this is the according to the Basic Conditions of Employment Act, you need to work 45 hours a week as a minimum. before you can qualify for overtime. Sundays and public holidays are excluded. That is always double time. So if you, for example, if you work 40 hours this week and you claim overtime, you first need to make up the 45 hours, and then the rest of the hours becomes overtime, if that makes sense. So what you need to do as well, if you worked from 7 to 5, that's 10 hours, then you need to deduct lunch, which gives you 9 hours. So you need to deduct 1 hour lunch. If you do not take lunch, you need to note it on this document that no lunch was taken, and the supervisor needs to sign for that, so that we can bill for that hour, because it's very difficult for us to prove that you did not work or you did not take lunch when the supervisor doesn't sign for it. Then over here, if you worked anything over the 9 hours, so say for example you worked 10 hours with lunch already deducted, so you worked from 7 to 6, then you'll have 1 hour overtime, and you put the 1 hour there in the overtime section, so that we can note that you worked overtime. You don't put 10 hours here and then 1 hour there, because then we're going to count that as 11 hours, which is not the case. It's 9 hours normal time, 1 hour overtime. If you do not sleep at your house, so for example you're traveling to a site, tomorrow you're traveling to the next site, and you're sleeping out with the client, you note that you sleep out, so we know that we need to bill for night out allowance, and we need to pay you night out allowance. Over here, once again, this is important, always make sure that you write the name of the site clear. Always complete this document as clear as possible, so that there's no comebacks, and this could affect payments. So here we said total L Road Depot, and then over here, which is super important, is the site supervisor to sign off on this document. If he does not sign off, we cannot prove that you worked, and we could have issues when it comes to payments. Over here, timesheets need to be submitted on the 25th of each month, and timesheets that are not signed off are not paid. So if we do not receive your timesheet and your invoice on the 25th, you do not get paid. You need to ensure that it's in on the 25th, and then on the last working day of the month, we normally do our payments. So once again, I just mentioned here, as per Basic Conditions of Employment Act, you need to work 45 hours a week, and then you need to deduct lunch from those hours. So basically, this is just a brief explanation on how to complete the timesheet, how to complete it correctly, just to prevent any delays. If you work for two different clients, so say for example today you're working for Art Welding, tomorrow you're working on another maintenance site for MK Projects, then you need to do a timesheet for Art Welding, you need to do a timesheet for MK Projects, so two separate timesheets. So if you then go again the following day, you work with Art Welding again, then you just continue on that same timesheet, but you'll just have the date the 15th of November 2021, which is Monday, and then you'll have it the 17th of November 2021. So this is a Monday, this is a Wednesday. So then you'll just continue there. So we've got one timesheet. We do not need to complete the timesheet every single day, unless you work for a different client every single day. So yeah, I'm sure this will clarify any issues that there might be on completing the timesheet. If you guys do have any questions, please do let us know, so that all of us can get onto the same page when it comes to completing these timesheets. Thank you guys very much for your time. Once again, if there are any issues, please do let us know.